Aloha, this is ITS128, and today is October 15th. And today we're going to finish up Chapter 5. Let me share my screen. Let's see, 128. So we are going to, this is October 16th, I think. Oh, October 15th. And so we're going to tackle some of these now. Let's see, I think we did 14 and 16 already, I think. Yeah, we did that October 6th, it looks like, so you can refer back to that video if you want. So today we're going to do, we're going to tackle as many of the rest of them as we can. And I'm going to try not to give you total solutions for every one. I'm going to try to stop short so you can get a chance to exercise your brain a little bit and try to figure this stuff out. You know, programming is different, or it's easier today because it's so easy just to go on the internet and find some code and start with that. You know, you're likely not going to find exactly what you need, but you can find something close enough, or even if it's not that close, just to start out to get your brain going. And then you do that incremental programming. Back in when I was learning this stuff, we called it stepwise refinement. You know, you do that, and you know, move to the answer. All right, so let's ZY books. And we are in chapter 5, and we've done 14 and 16. Let's start with 15, right? Okay, what am I doing here? I want to clear this. Let me just get rid of these things. All right, so we have lab 5.15. Count input length. Count input length without the spaces and the periods. I see. So we're going to write a program where we can type in a sentence, and it'll say how many characters are in the sentence, excluding spaces, commas, and periods. So I'm going to do it with my notepad here, and let's see. I got my notes here. That would be 15.5. It's a pretty easy one. Okay, so let's start out. First of all, I'm gonna put a comment up here. Okay, so that's and I'm going to save as test.py. Yes. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to read in my sentence. So I'm going to call it sentence equals input, and I'm going to put comments in here because I can't stand not having comments. Enter a sentence. And once I have the sentence, I'm going to count up the number of characters. So let me initialize a character counter. Character counter, initialize it at 0. We're going to start out with 0. And then I want to loop through all of the characters. So I would do a for loop for C character in sentence, for a character in sentence, start the loop, indent once, and this is the inside the loop. If the character is not equal to a space, it's not equal to a space, and it's not equal to, character is not equal to, my shift key is starting to stick, not equal to a period, and the character is not equal to, am I recording? Yes. So many times when I started Zoom, I've been doing Zoom for years, and before Zoom, I used freeconferencecall.com. Before that, I used Blackboard. And so many times I would just forget to press the record button. I still have nightmares about that. Having to it's the end of the lecture, and I realized I didn't press the record button, and so I let the class go, and then I sit down and I record the whole lecture over again. Of course, the second time is usually a little bit shorter, a little bit. I don't make any mistakes, but anyway, I want to make sure. And then so we're also going to skip commas. Okay, if the character, it's just a C. I'm using a C, just a C. Character is not equal to those things, then we can increment the character counter. And I guess we know about this now. There's a shortcut to adding 1. That's probably it. I think that's it. And let's print that out. All right, let's see. Let's run this. py test.py. Enter a sentence. Now is the time. 12, yes. 3, 6, 9, 12. Okay, good. All right, so that was pretty easy. What I'd like to do is I've been fiddling around with last time I said it's too bad I can't pop up a different language, and so I'd like to do it just a couple times today. I'm going to show you what this exact same code would look like in another language, another very popular language called PHP. And PHP is about as opposite a language as you can come up with, opposite of Python. So this is going to be very short. So what I'm going to show you is not Python, it's PHP. But let's see what this looks like. A program just like this would look like in PHP. And so I'm going to open up another thing here. And in PHP, let me see if I could do this. Let me, can I open up a second instance of this thing? No. Let me open up, I'll just open up Notepad. Do I have a Notepad here? Yeah. Okay, here's Notepad. Let me just use Notepad. So in PHP, I'm going to do this. I'm going to start with this. I'm going to start with this code. And I'm going to copy, and okay, I can use this. I'm going to paste it over here. I'm going to paste it, and I'm going to save it right off, and I'm going to save as test.php. Okay, and I'm going to go through and I'm going to convert this code. This is Python code. I'm going to very quickly convert it into PHP code, and you can see what it's like. Okay, first of all, in PHP, there's the hashtag is not a comment. The double slash is a comment. We actually run into problems with this because because when the integer divide is, of course, as you know, in Python is a double slash. And so the integer divide in PHP happens to be different. Anyway, so let's, okay, so that's a comment. Oh, it's dark. All variables in PHP have dollar signs in front of them. So there's a dollar sign there, dollar sign there, a dollar sign here. That's a variable. This is a variable. This is a variable. And this is a variable. And this is a variable. And this is a variable. Those are the variables. Okay, and let's see. Sentence. Okay, so the for loop, you can do this. It's some, the for loop is different. This version of the for loop where you're taking a character one at a time out of a sentence, you can do that, but it looks a little different for each sentence, and we have to go like this for each, and we have to have we have to use parentheses a lot more. Sentence for each sentence as C, so it's a little different. So yeah, for each, it's actually for each character in sentence, we're going to refer to that as C. And then also in PHP, there's no indenting. Doesn't mean anything. Indenting is for the user. So to enclose a for loop, you need to use curly braces. So that's going to enclose the for loop. Now in if statements, you have to put parentheses around the conditional. So it looks like that. And then again, you have to enclose it in these curly braces. Okay, so that does that. And works, exclamation point, equal sign works, plus minus, plus equals works. We need to put, input is read line. And we need to put parentheses, we need to put semicolons after each statement. Okay, we have to do that. We don't have to put a semicolon here. We don't here. Print that, this here. Okay. And this is a variable, dollar sign. And you can't, the print statement, you cannot just put a bunch of things separated by a comma. You have to just put one big thing that you're going to print. But you can do this. Like that. So that's going to print the whole thing, and it's going to print this whole thing, and it's smart enough to know that this is a variable, so it's going to replace the variable with that. It's going to replace that with the value of the variable. The other thing is print doesn't automatically do a line feed, so let's put a line feed in there. It's going to look like that. And let's see what this looks like. I'm going to save this. And I installed PHP on my computer, and so I can do, and I'm on my desktop here, and so I can do PHP, and I named this test.php, test.php. Ah, there's an error. Okay, good. I wanted there to, Oh, I know. The problem is, in PHP, you have to enclose the whole document in something that looks like this, which is why it doesn't give me my helpful colors. I have to put PHP there, and at the bottom, I got to put that. So you have to enclose your PHP code in, this starts it out, and this ends it. And by the way, this exact thing is what a PHP website would look like. Okay, you can take this and you can put it on a web server and just, execute it or go to it with your browser, and it'll print the same thing. But anyway, so let's save this and let's try this again. That's what happens. So see what here it just displayed out the program, And so now with these tags in there, I should be able, this should execute. Let's see. Enter a sentence. Let's do this one here. Let's do this one. And it should come back with 21. Copy, paste. Okay, I got an error. For each, invalid arguments applied for each. What did I do wrong here? Let's see. Oh, it doesn't know to break that apart. So we need to split it. Let's see if this works. Uh, um, function str split. I think this will work. So that should split it up into an array of characters. That's really what we want. In Python, it's automatic. But in PHP, you have to actually specify. So let's save this, and let's try it again. Does this work? Yes. Okay, good. Yes, it worked. Now, another couple of things here. I wanted to show you that we could, if the concatenation, I remember I mentioned this yesterday, we could do something like this. That's the quote, and then we concatenate the character there, the character value, and then we can concatenate a line feed. So that does the same thing. Save. That'll do the same thing. Oops. Same thing. The other thing I wanted to show you, and then this will be it, is let's go back to this. Remember, this is what we had. I said that if you can just, if it's inside a quoted string, you just need to put the variable in there, which is one of the convenient things of having a $sign in front of every variable. You can do things like this. There's a difference between the double quote and the single quote. Let's try putting single quotes here and see what happens. I'm going to put single quotes here and save this. And let's run this one more time. Paste the sentence in there, and look what it printed out. It printed out this exact line, okay? And the reason is because when you do single quotes, it does not recognize if there's a variable in there. It does not recognize if there's a special character in there. If you want that, if you want it to recognize that, you got to put the double quotes. And this concludes my PHP lesson for today. I just wanted to show this to you. This concludes my PHP lesson for today. All right. So anyway, let's go back to the real stuff. Okay, so now I think when you paste in your code, you're probably going to want to take out like this. Well, in fact, you're going to take that line out because it's right here. Oh, and you're going to want to take out this because that's not what's displayed out. All right, let me make this a little smaller. Okay. Somebody asked, why is Python object based and procedure oriented, whereas PHP is only object based? I can't really answer that question. I'll have to look up the answer to that question. Procedure, or yeah, I would think it's okay. Yeah, sorry, I don't have an answer to that question today. I'll get back to you on that. Although we could probably just Google it. And somebody just, yeah. Oh, by the way, yeah. I think everybody can read what Aaron is writing. Yeah, yes, PHP. Uh, I don't know. Uh, people sure like Python. The other thing about Python is when we started when we started doing structured programming, but before in the old days when we just wrote code, we didn't indent anything. I mean, some academic came up with that. Some Warner and Orr, or somebody came up with this idea of indenting to make and to make it easier for for the programmer to keep track of, when they're uh, nested loops and blocks and so on. And so Python actually enforces that. The indentation is important. The Python looks a lot like uh, pseudocode. When you're designing your program, before you write the code, you sort of scratch out, how you want it to be. And in the old days, very old days, we used to use flowcharts, but then we quickly moved to something that looked a lot more like Python. And then the indentation was important because that was the only documentation you had. And then when you wrote your code, you would still indent. We would still indent, but we don't need to indent. We can just go. We can make it look like that, and this runs just as fine. You know, no difference. Does this work? Yeah, no difference. Um, but we as teachers would tell you, make sure you indent, make sure you comment, and if we get code like this, take off some points. So but now Python. Now that we're teaching with, you know, Python's the language of the day, or language of the decade, maybe we could say. Um, you you have to indent. One problem that I have with Python is that if you do, this is a tab. Okay, what happens if you do this? What does this do? Does this work? No, not that. This one. Yeah, it doesn't work. See, it can't tell that. You know, if I did this though, I think this will work. Yeah, this works. So anyway, so your text editor matters, and I have my favorite text editor, which is this other one called Edit Plus, and it messes up the tabs and the spaces, and it's not consistent, so it's hard. I can't really use it. Um, uh, One thing about uh, why PHP is easier in that it doesn't enforce. I mean, types are dynamic. Variables. Um, the type of a variable is dynamic. So if you type in a bunch of numbers, it's going to treat it as numbers. Even if it's like, um, 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 even if you say that there are functions to enforce a certain type, but even then with PHP, if you're enforcing that this string 123 is this string 1, 2, 3 is a string, and this string 4, 5 is a string, and you compare them, if they're really strings, the 4, 5 should be greater than the 1, 2, 3 because 4 is greater than 1. Like alphabetical. It should be like alphabetical, but it doesn't. So anyway, let's move on. Let's not get too carried away here. Okay, so the next one I was going to do is we've done this one. Let's go to the next one. Password. I think we did password modifier already. We did this before. So yeah, so let's go to the next one. Lab. Okay, output range with okay. So with this one, we input two numbers. We input a starting number and an ending number, and what we do is we start by printing out the first one, and then we add 10 to it and print it out, and add 10 to it and print it out. And we keep on doing that until when we add 10 to it, we go over. When we go over, then we stop. So this goes from minus 15 to 25, and the next number after that would be 35, and that's greater than 30, so it's not gonna print it. So if the second integer is less than, it says it can't do it. Okay, so what does that look like? Let's see. That's 17. Yeah, 17. Okay, so we have to start out by reading two numbers. So let's do the Python one. Let's I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna copy this. Copy, just so for your sake. If you're at home and you're doing this and you want to skip to one, hopefully this will help you. Okay, so we're gonna start by inputting two numbers, and I'm gonna call it first number first equal, and we have to say that it's an integer, and I'm gonna say enter first number, enter low number, enter first number, and then we're gonna do that for the second number. I'm going to do second because why not? Enter the second number. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check to make sure that the first number is less than the second number. So if the first is greater than, I don't know, greater than the second number, then I want to print the second number must be greater than the first. Otherwise, I can start doing this. And so we can just use a simple for loop, I guess. For, and I guess we can do a range for what should I call it? Integer. For integer in range of first comma second, and I think I can just do 10. Okay, I want to go to, I'm going to leave it here for now, but there's an error. There's an off by one error. I want to show you that. We just got to do, got my PHP in front of me here. We need to just print it out. Print, can I do, oh, I got to do the, say it's a string, and I'm printing an integer. And then I also want to concatenate on a space. And I guess I want to, why can't I do this? Concatenate my space on that one. And then when I'm all done with all that, I guess I want to just print another. Doesn't matter where I do it. I'm going to do it here. That's just going to print another line. Okay, let's see if this works. First number, let's try this 15 and 30. Minus 15 and 30. Okay, that worked. This doesn't show, this doesn't help me with the off by one error. Okay, what happened? Well, if we do, let's do minus 10. Let's do minus 20, 30. Okay, you notice it skips 30. And that's because when it does this range here, you recall from before, it's going to include this one, but it's not going to include this one. So once 10 gets added to 20, it's equal to second. So it's and that's too far. It's beyond the range, so it doesn't do it. It doesn't do this part. And so you need to do you need to do second plus one. Now I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this. Does this do? I'm going to actually see what this looks like. So this has the error in it. So I'm going to put my code here, and I'm going to see what submit mode. I'm going to see what kind of, if it catches that. Oh, doesn't like that. Well, well, anyway, it doesn't like this. It's crazy, man. How you can learn anything. Doesn't like that. So let's see what. Oh, let's do it over here. It does not like this. Does not like this. Well, it doesn't like my message, does it? Second integer can't be less than the first. Boy, sure is picky, isn't it? Picky. Now let's see what it says. Okay, it's not, oh, I have to do this one. Okay, sorry. Oh, yeah. The reason is because when this thing prints, you're not supposed to do this. You're only supposed to do this. Well, you're only supposed to do this when you're done with the for loop. Okay, so all that works. And now the only problem we have is it's that off by 1 error. Let's see. And you can fix that. All right, let's do the next one. Print a string in reverse. Okay, in this one, we're supposed to program that takes a line of text as input and outputs that line of text in reverse. And it keeps on doing this until it encounters a Q, a quit, or a Q, okay? Presumably it can't be a quiet or it can't be quick. Okay, so anyway, so if the input is hello there, it's going to display this. If it's this, if the input's this, it's going to display this. If the input is this, it's going to stop. Okay, so and so there's a loop in there where it keeps on reading. Let me put this here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is let's read in the text string. So I'm going to say text. Okay, and I'm going to say enter the string. Enter the string. Enter the string to reverse. And of course, that'll cause an error, but I just like to, for the purposes of this, let's put that there. And I got to test to see if it's, okay, so there's going to be a loop. It's going to be a while loop. And while text is not equal to quit, and text is not equal to quit, and text is not equal to Q, then you got to do this reverse thing. Now, how might we do the reverse thing? Several ways we can do it. We could do it the way it says here in the notes, or let's try to go, let's just do for character in text. No, I gotta do it this way. For character, for index. For index. Can you go backwards? You probably can, but I'm going to do index in range of character, range of text. So that's going to be the size of, the length. I got to do length. And the length of text. So I'm going to refer to this. So I'm going to use index to refer to a character in text, but I want to do it. See if this works. Print. Text. Length of text. Minus index. So let's see. I'm going to do this. I'm going to use J. For J in the range of this, and the index, I'm going to call index equals the length of text minus j. Okay, so when j is 0, then the index is going to be the length of text, and that's going to be too much. So I actually want length of text minus 1. And then so this can be index, just plain old index. And I'm just going to do end equals nothing. Let's run this. I want to see what this looks like. No, it'll be a tight loop, won't it? Let me do this. While I'm debugging, I just want to go through the loop once. So another, where's my, by the way, yeah, PHP is used for web backend development. The main thing it's used for. Might be the only thing it's used for. In fact, when I installed I installed it, I went to XAMPP, and when I install it, you actually have this control panel here, and this is actually a web server. So you can actually, if I start this up, I can go to http://localhost, and that's my web server. Look at that. That's what it looks like. Anyway, yeah, I can. Yeah, that was another question. Before and change it. Yeah, while might be better here, but let me do this. So I'm gonna first put a if. So this will execute once. I'm gonna just say yes, and I'm gonna run this. Enter reverse string. Hello there. Enter. Invalid literal. It's because why do I have this here? No reason at all. Oops. Let's try it again. Hello there. Oh, look at that, it works. Hello there. Okay, great. So now that that works, I can just put a while here. Let's try this again. Quit. All right, it quit. All right, I'm gonna leave the rest to you, okay? You just turn this into a while loop. You gotta make sure you read in the next input. You gotta do this again down at the bottom here underneath the for, and change this to while, and that should do it. All right, what's next?
I have a question.
Yes.
Why is in line 7? Why is the variable j?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay, the variable can be anything, but the reason I have a variable there is because this range is going to go from 0 up to the length of the text, and I want to go from the length of the text down to 0, and so that's how I want to refer to it. So what I'm when I'm printing it out, I want to start with the last one and go down to the first one. So when j goes from 0 to the size, this is going to go from the size down to 0, because see, this computes the opposite. And I know what you're going to say because that just occurred to me too. I can just make the range go the opposite way, and then I don't need to have two variables. See, basically, I'm using two variables when I only need one. But let me just show that. Just I equals I J equals J. Oh, not J, index. I'm sorry. J display out what J is. And then I'm going to display out J. Then I'm going to display out what index is. INDEX. Index. And I'm going to do this. So this is going to look kind of weird, but that's okay. I better do this. I'm going to take this out for the moment. So here's what's happening. Let's see if this works. Might not work. Hello there. Okay, so you see what happened here, what executed. So J goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 characters, you see. 0 through 10 is 11 characters. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So J goes from 0 to 10, and I want index to go the opposite because I want to index this. First I want to print out the 10th one, which is this one. Then I want to print out the 9th one, which is this one. Then I want to print out the 8th one, which is this one. So you see, this here is just this goes from 0 up to something, and this goes from something back down to 0. See, so that's all this was. And of course, I don't need to do that. I can do this. I can just make this the index. And by the way, it doesn't matter the variable name. It can be anything. And in fact, I was just reading the other day how what you should not use for variable names, and they tell us don't use X and Y because then that can confuse you with what's going on with algebra, and it's not that at all. But so this can be in range that -1 down to -1, I guess. A step -1 at a time. Okay, so now it's going to go the opposite way and get rid of this. And let me just get rid of this. So now it's going to look a little different. Now it should do what index does, but we don't need the J because we reversed the range. So hello there. Yeah, so now that looks like that, and so we can just take out this thing there, and we do this end equals nothing, and we're back to what we should be. Hello there. Hello there. All right, great. So you can fix it to finish it there. You just gotta. Okay, what's next? Countdown magic until matching digits. Okay, what this does, this program we read in two numbers. No. We read in we read in a number between 20 and 98, And then we start counting down until we get to the palindrome, or until we get to the one where the two digits are the same. Okay, so how are we gonna how are we gonna figure out that two digits are the same? Well, we can, take the integer divide, and that, let's read this in. The integer divide is going to be the upper number, and mod 10 is going to be the lower number. So we just keep on subtracting 1 from this, and each time we take the integer divide, and that's the upper number, we take the mod, and that's the lower number, and we keep on doing that until the two are the same. So we can start out by saying some number, and enter a number between 20 and what, 98 or something? 98 or something. Okay. That was, yeah. And it's got to be an integer. And so we're going to do while upper number equals number 10. That's going to give the upper number, and the lower number is going to equal number mod 10. And then we're going to loop while upper is not equal to lower. Number equals number minus 1, or we could do the shortcut way, but whatever. And then let's do this again. Upper equals number 10, and lower equals number mod 10. And we're going to go until it's done, and then we'll just print upper and lower. Let's see what this does. Uh, 97, 88. Okay, 79. Oops. 79 only goes to 77. However, and 15 says it's 11. Oh, okay. Oh, I forgot to add the check. Okay, so all right. So what you got to do is you got to add the check. You got to add the check. So first, in fact, right here, I would check to make sure that the number is between 20 and 98. So if, do the check, else do the rest of it. And then also you're supposed to print out, each time you're supposed to print out this. So you can do something like print, you can print, you can print it like right here, like print it right here if you want to. No, maybe you should print it here and then print it down here or something. Well, anyway, you can figure out where to print it to get it right. So it prints this number, and it stops here. So you can do it like this, or you can, actually, when you print it, it should probably be, what? How do you print them right next to each other?
I had a question.
Yes.
So is the order of print what is going to be the output? So if we use print under lower equal number mod 10, is it going to print that first and then print the lower down on the code, the print? Like, is there an order of printing?
Well, the order I think is just here. Here in this case, it's going to be this is going to print whatever upper is, followed by whatever lower is. But this loop is going to be done. See, this loop is going to loop. It's going to keep on subtracting from number until this is true. See?
So if I put in print before the loop, is it going to print before the loop and then print again after the loop runs?
Yeah, sure, let's do it. Yep.
Okay.
Put that there, and now we can run it again. And I'll do 97. So yeah, it printed the 97 just like that was this one here, and then the whole loop did its thing, and number came all the way down to 88, and then it was done because the upper 8 equals 8, and then it's done. So then it drops down to here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And what you got to do though is it looks like you got to print them next to each other. There's various ways you can do that. You can do out equals a string, right? Upper plus string lower. Well, you can just do this. Forget this. This whole thing in here, of course. I lost my. Okay, this is better because then it's going to print the upper and the lower right next to each other. So let's put this one here and this one down here. Now this should probably look better. 54. Okay. Yeah. So now they're printing right next to each other, and you got to figure out. Take this, and you got to put it inside the loop somewhere because you want to print out every one. And you can just do trial and error, and you get it, take it out, and then you'll get that right. So what's nice about programming is you can just trial and error all day. All right, so you can take it from there. All right, what's next? Okay, speaking of trial and error, this is something you can do in programming. And I don't know if you've ever I guess you folks don't have to take calculus, but it turns out that, well, calculus is complicated, but it turns out that a programmer can write a program to figure out the derivative of an equation, sort of a brute force way like this. And I remember when back when I was in school, like you, everybody had to take a numerical analysis class. Back when I took it, back when I went to college in the 70s, it's like they struggled for courses for computer science majors to take because there weren't a lot of them, But so this one here is an interesting one. Okay, so solving an equation. So what we're supposed to do is solve for x and y. Okay, and if you have two equations and two unknowns, then you should be able to solve for x and y. And there's various ways to do it. There's a way that you learn in algebra class in high school or whatever, but here's a brute force way to do it. We have to find an x and a y where this is true and this is true. So we have two equations, and so what we can do is we can just try x and y, just try all combinations of x and y and test them both. Each time a new combination of x and y. You start, and they tell us, start out with do minus 10 to plus 10. If it turns out x and y is greater than that, then we're not, this is not going to catch it. and sometimes there's more than one solution. This isn't going to catch that either. This is a simple thing. But so we start out with you know x is equal to -10 and y is equal to -10. Okay, plug them in. Is this true? If, you know, I plug it in. Is this true? And if it's not true, then try -10 and -9, then -10 and -8, and you know, all combinations. So there's 200 combinations, right? Because there's 20. Now it's 400 combinations. This from here to here is 20. It's actually 21 because there's zeros in there. 21. And so we're talking about, you know, so x will go from -10 to +10, and y will go from -10 to +10. It's all combinations. Oops, didn't mean to do that. And so that's going to be it's going to be 21 times 21 iterations, but that's okay. The computer does it really fast, and when it finds the answer, you know, then it can stop, or then you should stop it. Although you don't have to stop it, you can just run it all the way out. It's easier just to try all the combinations, and when it finds one that works, it just captures the x and y, and then it can, you know, finish or whatever, or you can exit the loop, and then you print out the x and y. So let's first we're going to read in the coefficients. These are called coefficients. We're going to read in the 8, the 7, and the 38, and then we're going to read in the 3 and the 5 and the -1. And then we're going to start at x equals -10 and y equals -10, and we're going to test that, and you know, test it, keep on testing it until finally it looks like, if for this one, 3 and 2 work. X is 3, y is 2 will work. So if x is 3 and y is 2, if you plug in 3 and 2, then this equation becomes true, and you can calculate it out. 3 times 2 is, 8 times 3 is 24, and 7 times 2 is 14. So 24 plus 14 is 38, lo and behold. And then it should also work for this one. So 3 times 3 is 9, minus 2 times 5 is 10. So 9 minus 10 equals -1, lo and behold. And so at that time, when those two things happen, then it would stop. So let's write this program. This might be the last one we do today. And by the way, I can come back to this Tuesday. We can finish up the rest of them on Tuesday. So I won't leave you in the blind here. So I'm going to put that here so we know what's going on. And so I got to read all these things in. So let's start reading them in. I'm going to do. I got to read in. What should I call them? Guys, A equals integer of input. Enter. I hate that. Enter. Enter x coefficient of first equation. Okay, of course, you're not going to have that. And enter y coefficient of first equation. I'm just going to call that b. No, I'm going to call it x1. I'm going to call this y1. And I'm going to enter answer of first equation. Can't remember what I would call that. 4. And this, I'm going to call that Z1. So Z equals X plus Y. They told me not to use X and Y, Z, whatever. Z1. So Z, and then this is going to be X2, Y2, and Z2. And so this is going to be enter X coefficient of second equation, enter the Y coefficient of the second equation, enter the solution, enter the answer, enter answer for second equation. Okay, and so let's see, what are my notes here? I don't want to lead you astray. Oh yeah. So we're going to do a loop here. We're going to do an outer loop and an inner loop for, I wish I could think of some better variable names. I guess it should be X. For X in the range of -10 to 10. And for Y in the range of -10, 10. And so what we want to do is, I guess we're going to start out with a, I guess we should keep track if we found the solution or not. Found solution equals false. And we will loop-de-loop until we actually find a solution. Okay, so what we got to check is if x1 times x plus y1 times y, yeah, right, yeah, equals z1. If this is true, and if this is true, and this is true, let's make this a 2, make this a 2. If both of these things are true, then we have found our solution. Found solution equals true. Now, I should just be able to exit this thing, right? What happens if I exit? I would end up okay. I guess I do need that. Okay, so then I'm going to go exit. Now, that's going to land me here, right? That's going to land me here because the exit will exit me out of the inner loop. But I want to exit out of the outer loop too. I don't want to keep going. So I can, here's where I can do if found solution, then exit. Yeah, I think that will work. Okay, now that's going to exit me out of the outer loop. And if the solution, if found solution, X and Y should be the solution, print X and Y. I'm just going to do that. Else, print no solution found. All right, if this works, I'm going to be completely amazed. So let's just try to run it and see. By the way, this is more compact than the solution they gave me. Let's see this one. All right, and I'm just gonna enter in these numbers: 8, 7, 38, 3 minus 5 minus 1. So I'm gonna do boom, boom, boom. Enter the okay 8, 8, 7, 7. I'm looking at these numbers here. 8, 7, 38. This is 38. 3 minus 5 minus 1. Didn't work. So I don't think these exits are working right. Because tell you what, I'm gonna print this right here. I gotta see if I got it. I have to see. I should have done stepwise. I should have done incremental programming. I'm gonna try this. 8, 7, 38, 3 minus 5 minus 1. Here's my answer. So it looks like, okay, so when it became here, it found the answer, but for some reason, it kept on going. Well, all right, forget the exits. I'll have to figure out those exits next time. I don't use exits. I hate them. So that's the answers. What do I'm just I can do this. I'll leave that there. I will say if not found solution, print. Will this work? Let's see if this works. Eight, 7, 38. 3 minus 5 minus 1. Yeah, it works. And what's some solution that doesn't work? Do we have one here? I'm sure I can come up with something. 3, 4, 100, 2, 1, 1000. There's no solution found. Okay. All right. So it's 4:30. So I will leave it there. And to the individual who asked me to solve the question last time, I didn't get to that, but I have it in the chat. I'll do that, and I'll email you. Are there any questions? Let's see, am I okay? Yes. Are there any questions? Okay, I guess if there are no questions, everyone's muted. So if someone does have a question, you'd have to unmute. But if not, we will continue this on Tuesday.
I have a question.
Yes.
So this coming Tuesday, we're going to be doing Module 6, correct? So would you want us to finish it before Tuesday, or are we all going to do it together as a class?
Okay, 521. Oh, we got to do 521, 522, and 523. You know, why don't you wait to do the rest of them or start reading them? Why don't you try? What I will do is, hey, I know what I'll do. I know what I'll do. I will give you some. I will continue the recording and give you some sparse hints for five. No, I won't continue the recording. I'll make a recording.
No. I was just asking because I'm behind, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, then why don't you catch up, and we will continue this on Tuesday. Let's see. Let's check out the. Let's see. Let me share my screen again. Let's see how we're doing here. 6. Okay. It looks like. Oh yeah. Okay. Chapter 6 is going to be 3 weeks. 3 weeks for chapter 6. So yeah, no problem. Let's finish up this chapter 5 on Tuesday. Let's do that. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, good.
I have a question.
Yes.
So are we going to, is there extra credit at the end? I see a lot of options at the end of the book for, just says all optional for 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
Okay, so I wanted, okay, so I have to, for me to include them in the book, I need to say that they're at least optional. So that was my intention for that. However, I'm all for extra credit. So if you want, you know, and this is all good stuff. Okay, this is all good stuff. So would you like me to go through and pick some exercises that I think would be good for extra credit, and then offer those to you, or would you
Yes,
just?
please. I would like that because some things make more sense than others to me. So I just, it's just how I work, is that certain things click and others don't, and it takes time.
Okay, great. So I've got my favorites. Happens to be searching and sorting, but why don't you look through this? And if there's some sections that seem like it'd be easy for you to pick it up for you because this is all important stuff. If you look through them and go through the participation things, and if some of them look like, hey, this looks pretty easier, or hey, I can grasp this stuff, let me know, and I can add those too. And that goes for all of you. So it doesn't have to be the same for all of you, but if there is a way that I can get you to do some of these 14, 15, 16, 13, 14, 15, and 16, that's great. That'd be really good.
Yeah, I started on trying some of those in between to see if it would help click other ideas with the programming, because I'm new to Python.
Okay, yeah, yep. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Yes, you're welcome. Anything else? All right, so see you next Tuesday, and we will finish up chapter 5.
Thank you, Richard. I really appreciate your class.
Thank you. Thanks for watching. Let's see, how do I?